Our bathroom faucet handles have been getting really stiff to turn. When we first installed them, they were really smooth, like turned on and off really easily. And now they're actually getting really, really tight. And you really have to put quite a bit of force on there to turn it off and on. The cold side was actually worse than the hot side, but so I figured out how to take these things off and what's actually wrong with them. So to take these off, all you have to do is some of them will have like a little set screw, like a little screw on the side holding on, or some of them you just need to unthread them. So you just got to grab the base and just start twisting it. So you can see I'm actually starting to turn it. It might be hard to actually see it, but it's actually turning at the base. Now this is so stiff that it just keeps on wanting to turn it on, so I'm just going to do this as fast as I can. There we go. Okay, so that's all it takes to get these off. Now it's a good time, or maybe take this opportunity to clean underneath, any little bit of grime build up under there, any mold or whatever, and just clean it up. And then also, if you have a dripping faucet, now would also be a good time to change the core. To change the core, you have to have a special tool to get down inside to remove a little, basically a retainer. But we're not focused on that right now. So now I have this off, I'll show you exactly what is going on with the other one, because I've actually already taken it apart. So here you can see I have this one apart. So there's the one I just took off. And this is what's wrong with it. You can see all the corrosion around there. Look at all that corrosion on the inside and then down inside there. So you can see all the corrosion that's been building up, and it's making it really, really stiff. I thought it was actually the actual, like a faucet that's still in the sink that was jamming up or getting gummed up, but it's actually this. So this, even though it's off, is still extremely stiff or hard to turn. So inside there was a Phillips screw. So I took the screw out, pulled this off. So once I took the screw out, this pulled out and had this little plastic washer on there like that. Okay. And then this plastic piece was still stuck in there, and I thought it was like kind of pressed in there or something, but it was actually just all that corrosion. You can see the corrosion just kind of flaking off there, that it was jammed in there. So I just used the screwdriver, held this, and pushed the plastic piece out. So now that I have that out, all this out, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean all this up to the best that I can, and then I'm going to put some, I've got this like synthetic oil to prevent it from corroding anymore. But if you have like some sort of light grease, any sort of grease would actually work really well. I wouldn't use anything like WD-40 or anything too thin. Actually, I might even just go grab, I've got some like grease for wheel bearings for cars. So I think any grease that is gonna prevent water from really getting in there will keep this thing running really smooth. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up, and then I'll show you what it looks like after. Okay, so I got this all cleaned up to the best of my ability. Still a little corroded in there, but that's not an actual pivot point. That just splines to there, so that's okay. This now freely goes in and moves. But I think the main part that was really jamming up was where this plastic piece sits inside here. And you can actually see all the pitting. Might be hard to see down in there if the camera focused. All that pitting down inside. So it was getting really corroded, and these things have only been on there for 2-3 years. So it's just from the water seeping past here and settling in there. So I've got some grease. It's actually wheel bearing grease for a trailer, but same idea, right? Repels water, stops water from getting in there, and also lubricates. So I'm going to apply grease to this plastic piece, because this actually goes inside and rotates with the handle. So this needs to be able to rotate very nicely as well. So I'm going to apply grease to the top right here. I'm going to put this plastic washer on and then apply more grease. Then I'm going to press this inside. I'm going to apply some grease to the outside of the handle right there, and then install it. Now you don't need to use a lot of grease for this kind of, whenever you're using grease, you don't need to use a ton. But at the top here, because that's where all the water is coming in, I think I'm gonna pack a bunch of grease. Sorry, I'm gonna pack a bunch of grease all in this like channel to try to prevent it from filling up with water and the same thing happening again. So I'll put all the grease on there and then I'll show you what it looks like before I reassemble it. Okay, I've got grease applied. So I put a little bit on the inside of the actual base. I greased this component, and you can see where I put the washer back on and kind of greased both sides of that. And then I greased that channel up. A bunch will probably squirt out, but I'll just use some paper towel and clean that up after. So now I'm going to reassemble it. I'm going to slide this up inside, going to install the handle, put the screw on it. Oh, and I got to make sure I slide that on before I put the handle on. Put the screw on there and then tighten it up, and we'll see how it feels. And the base is all done. I wiped off a little bit of excess, and this thing turns super smooth now. So that's definitely gonna fix what the issue was. And I'm just gonna go through it back, or what I'll do is I'll take that one apart, do the same thing, and put them back on and see how they feel. So both of these are now installed, lubricated, and working beautifully now. Both feel even. And you can kind of see what happens is that right here where this gap is, well, if your hands are wet when you turn it off the tap, the water runs down, gets into that crack, and then goes and starts to dry up and corrode on the inside. So yeah, basically, if I wasn't filming, probably in 10 minutes I could have had both of these off, cleaned, lubricated, reinstalled, and done. And feels great. So would save you a lot of money instead of just replacing them, which some people probably do because of this reason. Would also save you money from having a plumber come in and basically do what I just did. Okay, so I hope this helped and made sense. And leave any questions or comments below. Thanks for watching.